There's been an extraordinary leak of a trove of documents that claims to catalogue hacking activity and tools to spy on Chinese and foreigners. This from a private security firm that's linked to the Chinese government and its Ministry of State Security. There are even claims that NATO has been targeted with discussions about hacking the organisation, also discussions about hacking Twitter and downloading DMs, direct messages. According to Associated Press, this leak reveals the methods used by Chinese authorities to surveil dissidents overseas, hack other nations, and promote pro-Beijing narratives on social media. It's unbelievable. One cyber expert who's been analysing this leak in detail is former Australian Army intelligence officer and co-founder of Internet 2.0, a cybersecurity company, David Robinson. And David joins me now. Look, we don't know who actually leaked this data, but it's caused a major stir on a global scale. David, what are the main things that we've learned about how the Chinese conduct hacking?
Good evening, Sharri. So from this leak, we can see that the Chinese government, ISoon, that was in the leak, basically have a strong capability and intent to target international organisations, international governments and corporations around the world. They have large-scale automated hacking platforms that they sell as software to their clients. They talk daily about hacking other organisations and people, and they have a huge number of victims, a huge long list of people that they've hacked in the last 7 to 10 years.
So when we talk about state-sponsored hacking, the culprits are usually China and Russia. Is this how China would, get private companies? We know it's been linked to the MSS, the Ministry for State Security, to actually hack other nations. And I know that there's also discussion of payments in there. Can you tell us a bit more about this?
So the Chinese government and also this company have really got their pants, they've been pulled their pants down really in terms of embarrassment. The entire document really indicts and implies and shows that the Chinese government supports this broad-scale hacking. So there are a lot of contracts between the Ministry of Public Security and this company. They have open letters of support from CCP organisations because they're a company there in Chengdu and they're operating as a normal company. But in the background, 2/3 of their staff are conducting APT hacking operations and they're selling this data and access to all their clients.
The other interesting part of this is what I mentioned a minute ago from the Associated Press article, that among the discussion is also how to promote pro-Beijing narratives, propaganda on social media. How does this play into it?
So they had a document basically outlining one of their strategic capabilities and software platforms, which was designed to surveil, monitor and create large-scale groups of accounts, basically, to influence people on Twitter, and it was targeted specifically at Twitter. This is a normal type of software in the world of cybersecurity because everyone is looking at, scraping Twitter and looking at Twitter, but the intent of the software is different. It's built to create accounts, influence chat organizations, influence the narrative, but also send phishing links to people. So this platform is enabling you to use the platform to identify groups, dissidents, or anyone talking about what's interested to the user, and then sending phishing links to basically take over their accounts. And they specifically talk about deleting those accounts through the software once you've taken over it.
You also pulled up the discussion about hacking NATO, where the users or these people were discussing whether or not to hack NATO. What do we know about this?
Some of the users in the company, basically the entire internal chat logs of the company have been leaked. So there's tens and thousands, hundreds of thousands of lines that we're pulling and trawling through the data. But some of the users have talked about openly, should we hack NATO? Can we sell this NATO data? The client already has the NATO data. How do we make a profit out of this? And they're talking specifically about NATO and also the boss of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg.
This is absolutely extraordinary. I mean, I think people don't understand the scale of this. We know China and we know Russia are responsible for major hacks globally, but you know, to have this leak, to have a state-sponsored company that does the hacking, their chats leaked for everyone to see. I mean, it should really be a bigger story. I'm sure people watching tonight wouldn't have heard of it, you know, until right now. It should be a major global story. David Robertson, thank you so much for examining it so closely and bringing it to my attention.